Welcome back, everybody. So today I want to talk a little bit about networking. Now, this is something that we've talked about before, and I actually have multiple videos on this. So if you want, you could go back and check out some of those earlier networking videos where we talk about building a network or how to network at conferences. But today what I want to talk about is the importance of leaning into that network and what that really means, and this concept of paying it forward. Now, what I mean by paying it forward, this is a concept, at least in the US, that I've seen before. And I don't know, let me know in the comments below if this exists elsewhere in the world. I'd be interested to know this idea of paying it forward, meaning if you're at a drive-through to get coffee at a coffee shop, you may go up to the window and say, okay, here's money for my order, but then can you also pay for the order behind me? And then that person will go up to the window and they'll find out that their order was paid for. Maybe they pay for the person behind them. And so, you're taking care of those people around you, okay? It's the same thing, I think, with help as a scientist, okay? So none of us got to where we are by ourselves. We needed help. We needed help from our PI, our grad school advisor, our committee, from grad school students that we were working with, fellow postdocs, colleagues. Every step of the way that we go, no matter what our seniority is, we're gonna need help from those around us. And I think that we need to all accept that, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with needing help. But, one of the things that we need to keep in mind is that while we do take help from others, we need to be just as good about giving help back to those around us. So when you see somebody that's brand new and junior and they don't know what they're doing, remember that you also used to be in that same position and offer to help them out. Even if they're multiple levels below you, doing that and showing that level of commitment to the people within your organization, it's really what builds a good community. And the departments that I've seen that have that, whether it's in academia or in industry, it doesn't matter. Those are the ones that I feel are the best to work at and have been successful. And you could tell when a group of people really care about each other and want to pick each other up and help. If somebody's maybe transitioning to a new type of job and they don't know what they're doing, somebody wants to leave work and go back to school to get another degree, there's all different times when they're going to rely on you for help. And you need to make sure that you can go there and be there to support others, remembering that you've also used help from others. Now, with that said, we need to discuss leaning into your network. Now, networking is one of those weird categories that I've seen a lot of scientists struggle with. In business, people use their network way more efficiently than scientists do. They're totally okay to network and to ask for favors from others and to negotiate. And as scientists, we don't like to do that. We kind of like to let our data speak for itself. And I'll let my stuff, here's my data. It speaks for itself. And that's not necessarily good enough. There are some really good papers that have been published out there that didn't get into Cell Nature Science that should have, and vice versa. Papers that really weren't very good that got into Cell Nature Science and really don't belong there. Some of that just has to do with the networking of the PI and how they're able to build relationships with the editorial team at some of these journals. So I know that there are PIs out there that they have great relationships with the editor-in-chiefs at some of these journals, and half their papers wind up in those journals, even though, the majority of them really don't belong there. The opposite is true. There are some PIs that just submit a paper and they say, well, I think it's good data, hopefully it gets in. And it doesn't, because the PI doesn't do anything to try to work to get the paper in. And that's what the difference is. And it's the same thing with applying for jobs. It's the same thing with trying to get grants. Sometimes you have to throw your weight around a little bit and use your network and those around you to help you obtain the next step up in your career, the next grant, the next paper. It's okay to do that. It is okay to go to somebody that you know within your network and say, hey, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and I know that you're connected in some way. Can you help me out? I want to apply for a job at this university or at this company. and you're somebody that knows someone in that department. Can you help me out? A really good example of this is one of the people that reports to me at work let me know that she wants to go back and do a PhD, which is great. I'm really happy for her. And she's leaning into her network, including myself, to find opportunities to do a PhD. And it happens to be that I know somebody that's in charge of a admission committee at one of the universities. And so I was able to connect her with the person in charge of an admission committee. And now she has, interviews there. And then what happens afterwards is up to her, but at least I'm able to help her get her foot in the door. I'm able to generate that connection and put a name and face together for that person so the committee knows who she is. And it just means that she's at a competitive advantage as opposed to somebody that's just applying with no connection at all. And that's what I really mean by using your connection. It doesn't mean that somebody's gonna lay out a job for you and give it to you. It just means knowing who is in the arena that could help you. Any little competitive advantage that you could get is gonna work to your benefit, and it's gonna help you to progress faster in your career. It's gonna help you reach new heights, and it's gonna make for a better experience. That said, bringing it back to the first part of the video though, as we do this, we need to remember that nothing in our career is done all by ourselves. We always are relying on those around us to help. And so when we do see somebody that needs help, sometimes those people aren't gonna go out seeking the help. Sometimes we need to be proactive and say, how can I help you? Okay, so how can I help you with this, that, or the other? And sometimes by being proactive, it's good. It feels good that you help somebody. It's the right thing to do. But even if you come at it from a selfish angle, sometimes if you go out of your way to help somebody, it ends up making it where they're more likely to help you in the future if you ever need their help. So I'll give you an example. When I was considering moving from academia over to industry, there was a company that we collaborated with quite frequently, and I got to know the CSO of that company really, really well. Now, the work that they did really wasn't the same area that I was in, so it wouldn't have made sense for me to go to that company. But when I was gonna move over, I talked to that CSO and I said, look, I wanna move to industry, can you give me any help? And he spent time going over my CV and helping me fix up my CV and gave me some examples of what an industry CV should look like. He connected me with some people that can talk to me about different positions in different companies. He walked through what some of the questions might be that I might get asked at an interview, and he really helped a lot, more than he really needed to. But because he was so kind and willing to help me with that, down the road, he's come back and asked me for help. I need help finding someone for this position. Can you help me out? And I'm very willing to do so because I remember what he did for me when I needed help. So I think no matter what your angle is you're helping someone. If it's for a selfish reason, fine, whatever. If it's for just feeling good and because it's the right thing to do, which is, that's a good thing. It's good to help those around us and to remember that we didn't really get anywhere without the help of others. So I think that's about it for this video, but I just kind of wanted to discuss this a little bit. So with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.